counter to the Braum. Very difficult to deal with in the lane if you play that matchup correctly. So FPX looking to get Lwx and Crisp into a nice solid footing down that bot lane.
And this will be Crisp's first game on Braum of the split. I think Braum's pretty decent into what they've picked up so far. Going to give peel over to the Aphelios, and your ultimate's going to have a lot of value when the enemy side is all going to be jumping onto you. I'm really curious to see where FPX go in terms of a pick against the Lucian. I wonder if they would want to just put something like the Lee Sin mid and try to weather the storm, because not too many picks available that really can go toe-to-toe with him. You can always try to bring out a more supportive pick like the Karma, but then I feel like slotting Lee Sin into your composition is a little bit awkward in terms of like Karma Lee Sin mid-jungle sounds a little bit weird, right? Not really having that big champion you can prop up in terms of the jungle role. So we're going to keep our eyes on Doinb, or if he has more confidence to go back to one of those Doinb-esque picks that we've hit on, right? Things like the Kled. You always could also bring out the Orianna, something that Doinb has been very competent on, and keep going with more of neutralizing the early game and scaling, but you will be giving EDG a big window to play around.
Now, we'll wait to see what they want to lock in here. Of course, the Kled is more of a Doinb-esque pick, but it is only 2 and 4 this split on it. He hasn't got played 6 times. He's his most played champion of the split so far, and he has lost 4 of those games. So maybe not something you want to 100% gravitate towards, but they're going to leave him all the way until the last pick. Hell, he got his pentakill on that Lee Sin mid, so maybe it's the Lee Sin for Doinb in that mid lane. We'll have to wait and see, as Nuguri going to have his Kennen. That's an important thing. His Kennen. He got a skin on it in 2020.
I mean, it's his 4th most played champion in his career, 28 games, 71% win rate, something that he is just exceptional on. Does give them more AP in the composition, which is nice as well. Now for EDG, we're looking at where they want to go with bot lane, instantly bringing out the Ashe to try to fight for that prio. Giving them some engage in this composition is quite nice, where it is lacking elsewhere with the ability to find picks. Sure, they can try and play out through side lanes and the ability to move first, but it doesn't feel like it would be enough for EDG. The Tahm Kench pick to me would be a little bit strange. I wouldn't even mind seeing more engage come out in the support role as well. It would be a bit of a neutral lane, but you would at least be able to move something like a Leona or Nautilus on the map. Trundle Pillar, pretty decent up against the Kennen to being able to prevent the Slicing Maelstrom to get onto your team, but very pick-oriented composition coming out from the side of Edward Gaming.
And now you got yourself last pick for FPX. Do you want to try and put Doinb onto a playmaker? Do you put him onto a facilitator? You've got so many options, and we know he can play them all. And oh lord, we got ourselves an Irelia into that mid lane. So a lot of skill expression, a lot of playmaking ability. Both teams locked and loaded. Both teams are going to be absolutely fire if they can get their engages the way they want.
One mistake is going to, cost a lot in that mid lane matchup as well. Scout going to be able to generate some pressure at level 1 with his range and try to play around the health advantage he's able to get. But if Doinb can find an all-in, if Doinb can find times to sync up with Tian and punish the Lucian, maybe take away his flash, the Irelia is going to have so much pressure in a melee versus ranged matchup at that point. I like both compositions so far. EDG wanting to run head first into FPX. FPX having a little bit more dimensions with their comp. Ken played a bit slower, Ken played a bit more far back in terms of the Aphelios, and the Kennen also doing a great job of dissuading all-ins with the Slicing Maelstrom, but also still having those flank opportunities coming out from champions like Kennen and Irelia.
And I see Renekton, I see Kennen, and the one word that comes into my head is flank. We're going to look at deep wards, deep TPs, deep ways to get yourself onto these back sides, and creativity is going to be the name of the game for these two sides. It is a clash of styles in this final regular season game. FPX, explosive, powerful, quickest game of the split, some of the highest KDAs on any of the teammates, and then you're looking at EDG, calm, collected, composed, looking to just suffocate you out and take the game on their terms. This is going to decide who will have the advantage, and honestly, the favorite to take out the LPL championship. We are jumping into game 1. Buckle up, sit down, get yourself ready, because it's going to be a banger of a game. Now, Lyric, I know that's very hard for you to follow up on. A lot of hype. Hype's not really your thing. But you don't leave a brother hanging. And there's no crowd to back me up here today. So I'm just going to say...
You know, I was actually still totally in the mindset there were Gios, and also you just totally threw me under the bus in terms of my hype levels, though.
Absolutely. You've been throwing me under the bus for weeks.
I have been throwing you under the bus for weeks. That is a fair point. But Penguin, we got a hype matchup on the Rift, and we're going to see which of these teams is going to throw the other under a bus. And right now we can see really aggressive options coming on that bottom lane matchup. Double Hail of Blades in that bottom side, so can get some really quick, aggressive trades out from there. Really want to see how this one goes. You would expect them to have pressure, right? I mean, they have the Ashe into the Aphelios, can just spam those volleys. They have a Trundle as well, who's pretty good. Use that pillar, try and get Lwx in a really tough position to force out something like a Splash. No Ignite coming out from Meiko. Typically when we do see the Hail of Blades on Trundle, it is that Ignite on the Rift. And we're going to see here in mid lane, it is what we talked about, right? Scout abusing that range advantage to try and force Doinb off the wave. Now trying to push him out from being able to really pick up anything, get that level 2, and then force those hard trades.
Yeah, we can see the fight for the brush control already starting off here. It is going to be won by FPX, so they'll be able to get themselves pushed forward a little bit. You gotta be careful, though. The chase down potential with an Ashe, of course, with that Frost Arrow passive is very, very poignant and very powerful, so you gotta be very aware of that. The level 2 should be hit by both bot lanes relatively evenly, so not really much of an advantage to garner from either side, but I'm going to be watching this bot lane, or excuse me, this jungle pathing towards this bot lane very, very closely. You can see both junglers did start on the bot side, so they'll move up towards this top lane, but I feel like right now this could be an opportunity here for both sides to really get their junglers into one of those side lanes and make an early advantage for themselves.
Yeah, Jiejie, I don't expect him to look for any early ganks, but the fact that he will have prio in both soul lanes means he can like move more aggressively, right? You expect him to get the top side scuttle, can maybe try and make his way down and look for some duels elsewhere. You wouldn't really expect much with the fact that Tian did go mirroring his camp in the opposite direction, right? Went from red to blue on the bottom side, so junglers shouldn't really interact. I don't think you have much opportunity to set up any ganks early on. So probably for the first 4 minutes, we're not going to see too much action. Going back to your point earlier about the EDG bottom lane, they also did both take approach velocity, so it will be pretty overbearing to get away from both Trundle and Ashe with the amount of slows they're able to put down on you later on in the game. But right now, FPX's bottom lane having prio. I mean, also the fact that Jiejie pathing away from the bottom lane, I think Viper and Meiko not really wanting to push out in that situation.
Yeah, approach velocity, of course, very powerful. It's almost exclusively taken on Ashe as an AD carry, as we do see the pillar go down. The Unbreakable pops back up, so both bot lanes just testing the waters right now as Jiejie gets himself in, pops down a nice little ward, seeing if Doinb overextends, and just waiting for any kind of shenanigans. Both junglers resetting after a full clear, going to be almost identical in what they're able to buy. Just one last smite available, or one extra smite for Jiejie as he goes back and gets himself 2 amplifying tones.
Yeah, and oh, some heavy trades coming out from Nuguri, but nothing going to be able to be capitalized on. Also, hitting back to what we just saw in mid lane, Scout is building up a big wave, so going to be able to push that in under turret, potentially find some heavy trades onto Doinb. Not sure if he's enough gold for he wants to be looking for a reset right now, but we're closely going to get to the point where some of these matchups are going to flip, right? Doinb towards his level 6 going to get pressure. We can see Nuguri now off of the bounce back of the earlier push from Renekton is able to control the wave with the fact that it is stacking up. So pretty nice coming out. We're going to be looking at Tian. Oh, maybe they find a gank window.
Well, there's a flawless duet. Crisp is here. Scout might be forced to flash away. He goes underneath his turret. He flashes back over it as Crisp goes in. Crisp will not die, and they're able to tank this turret up nicely there. Doinb flashes himself out to safety, and it's FPX with first blood.
I'm so surprised. I thought maybe Jiejie would be able to turn that one around and at least find a kill on the Crisp for a 1-for-1. Not able to in the end. FPX still going for it.
They're still going. He's a flawless duet, and the concussive blows down onto 2 members of EDG. They will gain 1 more. They will force the flash out of Meiko and the exhaust. FPX starting so explosive. Q lands, and Tian on his Lee Sin pick will pick up another for FPX.
And FPX are just so explosive. Both teams talking about in the pre-game interview, there's going to be a lot of shenanigans, a lot of fighting around the mid lane, and it has stayed true so far. Are we going to get a bit more? Doesn't look like it as Flandre backs off, but man, really nice to see out from FPX. They know the TP is going to come out with where the wave is. They do get the flawless switch to go with the stun. Chris coming in and Doinb knowing, hey, we get the passive on and we have the exhaust. We can finish off this kill. Jiejie almost able to pull it back in, but with Chris flashing away, I also think he used the W there as well, not taking an extra turret shot. And then EDG coming to answer the wave. I don't know if they thought maybe they could take this with the low health bars, but FPX just able to turn. And Braum is just so overbearing to deal with in any of these early skirmishes. You saw it right there, able to tag his passive on both members of EDG. You're going to get locked down so quickly. And beautiful Q from Tian there in the end. Is well. What?
We're back in, and there's an immediate kill there for Scout. Great roam by Flandre. Flashes in, gets himself the kill, and that's going to be EDG trying to equal back out this goal deficit. And EDG not to be outdone just yet. Keep themselves in the relevancy. Scout, though, will have to be careful of Tian. He has got himself the access to that Dragon's Rage kick. Great answer here for EDG. Great way to bring themselves back up into some kind of early game relevancy.
This also goes back to a point about Flandre that I feel like is really underrated, is that so Flandre doesn't really have pressure in his lane all that much, right? Almost never. But when Flandre does have like windows where he's able to move, I actually feel like Flandre is one of the top laners who most takes advantage of those windows. He's not going to be like a player like Breathe or Bin or any of these guys, right, who are looking to force their advantage. He's going to move for his team, like we do see here. Does start moving down, use the blasting plant. Okay, so they just set this up on Doinb really nicely, not expecting Flandre to come through. Flash, slice, and dice, and he just has nowhere he can go. So really nice play coming out from EDG to set this one up.
Yep, really nicely done. They get themselves a kill back. That's the first kill of this series. Still about a 1,500 gold lead and a dragon now as well for FPX. So still doing very well in this. And now Tian with 2 kills on this Lee Sin has almost got his Gore Drinker pretty much finished and ready to go at this early stage. But still waiting to see exactly where they want to bring it all. EDG now gonna find themselves in this bot side, looking at Lwx and Crisp. The Guardian doing enough there to mitigate any kind of good trading, and this is good for FPX. We talked about it in the stats at the start of the day that FPX are explosive. FPX are the ones that get the high kills per minute, but they are not a team that likes to sit down on their laurels and wait. Whereas EDG, they're slower, they're controlled, they're more of a methodical team when it comes to this. So if you can drag EDG into your playpen as FPX, you're happy.
Nope, all in comes out.
Yeah, there's the all-in. They're going to force the flash in. Flash forward there from Lwx to try to get onto Meiko. Meiko has not got the subjugate available to him, and he will fall. So, flash burn by Lwx, but he secures himself the kill. That's nicely done by FPX.
And man, the fact that FPX's bot lane, who was getting, memed to all hell earlier on in the split, they weren't performing that well coming out from the finals appearance from Lwx. Now 2v2 killing Viper and Meiko, who people are talking about as the best laning bottom lane in the world, is absolutely insane. But we need to stop talking about that because EDG going to posture for this fight. Both Meiko and Crisp are on their way.
They are. There's the Dominus here. You have the Slicing Maelstrom very soon. The Rift Herald is going to be secured by FPX. There is the Slicing Maelstrom down on top of the Vanguard's edge. They go for it. Look at that AoE damage coming down. But it's going to be a trade of 2 kills for 1. Can't do it. He keeps himself alive. The answer is yes. And they'll take 1 more for the road. FPX get the objective. FPX get the kills. And FPX get out with everything they could have wanted and more.
2.5 gold lead at the 9-minute mark for FPX. They get the objective, they get the fight, they get absolutely everything in that situation. You hit on it, Penguin, the Slicing Maelstrom, the amount of AoE damage you're able to have in a fight like that. It's why Kennen is pretty good into a lot of the champions that EDG picked up, right? When you have champions like Diana and Renekton that are going to be jumping into you, you don't need to find flanks or find angles for your Slicing Maelstrom because you know they're going to be coming in. It's so telegraphed. And FPX kiting it out at first, finding the angle to go in, Doinb leading the charge, and there it is, Slicing Maelstrom down onto multiple members on the side of EDG. Tian does go down in the end, but once Chris gets here, FPX know that this is a 1 skirmish on their side. So FPX really pushing the pace, and we keep coming out of replays, and there's always more posturing going around. FPX trying to use the fact that they do have a lot of control coming out from this mid-jungle duo with how far ahead they are. The Gore Drinker already picked up by Tian. Wherever he goes, that will be a winning 2v2 or 3v3 for the side of FPX. Quick note as well, I've wanted to hit on this, that Doinb earlier on did buy a Bramble Vest, so, just playing purely for that 1v1, wanting to mitigate some of the trades that Scout's looking for onto him and just become this kind of meaty frontline-esque member, I don't think it's too surprising. Doinb's always gone for, I'd say, tankier builds on a lot of champions than most people do, but Scout does have his Gale Force already, so at least first mythic up for the side of EDG.
Yeah, I love the Braum vest as well, because it stops a lot of what EDG want to do with the Renekton as well as the double AD carries. It means he can feel confident moving forward, and I think that's the way Doinb probably looks at the game, is that if I'm alive, I can outplay. That's how I gotta feel like this. I gotta be able to move forward and keep myself alive. If I'm dead, I can't do anything, but it's a deep TP, excuse me, not a deep TP, a deep invade coming in from Tian, while a TP comes into mid. The Scout going to be forced underneath his story. He's got the Gale Force now up against the Gore Drinker, so a little bit of power here for EDG, but they're still waiting and kind of scaling, if you will, to try and get themselves in this. As Flandre trying to steal away this Grump, not really going to get anything out of it as the Tian comes in, smites it away, and they've got total control of this top side as well as the Rift Herald they dropped in bots, so FPX just accelerating this gold lead again.
I mean, that's the thing, right? I don't think this is necessarily EDG waiting it out or waiting for some, like, breakpoints to come online. I mean, FPX just have so much map control, there really isn't any avenue where EDG can find a kill. You do have some options where, you know, you have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow down in bot lane, so you can try and set that up for a pick. When Crisp is there, it can be quite hard, just finding those kills on the Braum, though. It looks like EDG might want to go for it, but yeah, the ward spots him out, so Lwx not going to give over this angle. And with the fact that Doinb and Tian both got so accelerated, right, you have control of mid. You have control of mid jungle. You can use that pressure to move elsewhere, which really restricts the movements coming out from the side of EDG.
This is such good vision control from FPX. They know exactly where Jiejie is. They know exactly what he's trying to do. You'll see Doinb now coming in, trying maybe give a bit of pressure himself, but I gotta say, you know, Jiejie is about 30 CS down. He's not really had the same level of impact. Definitely not as Tian. 3-1-3 for Tian versus 0-2-1 for Jiejie. So there is definitely a discrepancy in this jungle matchup as of right now. And Tian just seems to be abusing that fact so hard. Even now, they know where he is.
Almost 2k gold lead, Penguin. Almost 2k gold lead all on the Tian if you look at the gold on individual members. But we might have a 3v3 coming out right here. Lwx doesn't have flash, but neither does Viper.
Viper does not have it. They do have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. The Dragon has been started by Doinb, but he's going to back himself up. Now Scout going up towards this top side. You can see now the Dominus has been popped. Do they want to try and go for this one? They will. The Dominus with the culling is enough to take him down. Nice repayment of the favor there for Scout onto Flandre's lane. It does mean, however, you will have to give up this Dragon. As I say that, there is an arrow more in... as I say that, we're going to see Tian now landing the Q going up onto Meiko. Subjugate has to be used to keep him alive. The Dragon's Rage kick is available, but Tian doesn't want to go for it just yet. Knows he doesn't have quite enough burst to take him down, and Flandre is still pushing in top.
So I'm going to go back to the play we saw on Nuguri, because it was pretty smart by EDG, because I think with the fact that you see Jiejie hovering around bot lane, right, because FPX saw him on wards, they know he's there. If Scout isn't showing on wave, maybe you also assume he's hovering towards that bottom side of the map, because that is, you know, where you are setting up for either a play or a counter play. So when he does show on top, it seemed like it did catch Nuguri off guard a little bit. As Nuguri, I'm sure you can argue against him, saying you have to expect that once Scout is missing that he could be there. As here, he actually shows on a ward, so Nuguri's seeing him, but I guess it's already too late at this point. By the time he did show on that ward around the blasting plant, does look like it's too late for Nuguri to get out. Does have flash up, but Scout as well. So for EDG, they're trying to find ways to claw back where they could, but FPX still being in complete control.
And look at this, they're already contesting for these neutral buffs as well. Jiejie would have liked to give that one over to his mid laner. Scout, of course, more of an AD caster than an AD carry as such, and sadly not able to do that. Has to smite it away to secure it away from TN, from stealing it away. And now we look to see where this mid game goes. 15 minutes just on the horizon. EDG about 2,500, 3,000, I was going to say euros, 3,000 gold, as now maybe Crisp looking to maybe be a bit more of a nuisance, but this time around EDG being a little bit more proactive and making sure there's not as much information for FPX.
Well, they've been doing a nice job, but Rift Herald is the thing that's up right now, so that's where I'm going to keep my eyes on. We see Nuguri as push up in top side, so it leads into Tian just starting this one up. I feel like as EDG here, you potentially would just want to look towards bot side. All of FPX already making their way up. Viper pretty behind on the follow-through. We're going to see if EDG can use this small window to find some kind of pick on this top side.
They're going for it. They're going to jump straight in onto Nuguri, who's to flash away. Slicing Maelstrom is still available for him, but he does not have that available to him with the flash. Now we can see Lwx using the Gale Force, using his own flash to try and get away from Meiko and Viper. That's a couple of different summoners now burnt. We can still see the fight happening. There's going to be a TP coming in. Jiejie gets going to try to jump through onto this Vanguard's edge as they jump straight onto Tian. Tian, though, still alive, will actually kick back just as his dying wish. And now Doinb and Nuguri trying to push in onto Jiejie. They will find him. They will kill him. And that's enough for a 2-for-1 trade in favor of FPX. The Dragon is, or sorry, the Rift Herald is still available. And Nuguri going to try and push in this top side.
Yeah, not going to go for this one just yet as Tian is not up. We did see EDG almost be able to find a pick onto Lwx in the mid lane, but not able to do it. And then FPX rallying on the opposite side to be able to take the skirmish in the end. We're going to see Lwx here walking up. Both AD carries were a little bit behind on the play, so sets up for Meiko to go for this pillar and set up for the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Does have to use the Gale Force and the Flash like you highlighted. Then we're going to see what shenanigans went on up here as both teams fighting for this Herald. Nuguri getting a recall off, but still having time to TP back into the fight. And remember, Doinb and Tian are the big members who are so far ahead in terms of items at this point in time. So able to find a 1-for-1, give time for Nuguri to get back in here, be able to get the stun off with the Kennen to at least guarantee one more kill in the trade.
I will say, the Rift Herald did not go down, so there's still potential for another fight around that objective. A minute 20 or just a little bit under it until the next dragon spawns. FPX already stacking up 2. They would love to get another one to get themselves onto Soul Point. Infernal Soul as well, so everyone on the side of FPX will greatly benefit from that little bit of extra stats and buff. But Doinb is opting towards the bot side. He has a teleport, and as I say that, he's going to use it immediately. Flandre's been exhausted inside the dominance, and now he's left on his lonesome by himself, forcing Meiko to flash over the wall as he's the one who would have been caught out by the flawless duet. And the Rift Herald will reset once again. FPX seems to be holding the momentum right now. FPX are deciding where the plays happen.
And EDG not respecting the TP to go out. The call from EDG, you can see, was to go in. So Flandre looks to start the fight. Halfway through, Meiko and the rest are like, peace out, dude. We are leaving. Leaving Flandre in such an awkward spot. I mean, I think the call to fight there probably a little bit questionable, but EDG still looking for it. Like I said, leaving Flandre out to dry. They are able to pick up the Rift Herald for that play from the side of FPX. And okay, so we're seeing how it all started. They find a pillar onto Lwx, so that's why they want to go for it, but still overreaching, walking into the enemy jungle where you don't have any vision, and you're going to be caught out in terms of numbers advantage for the side of FPX that they did have things like TPs available and members not too far behind.
And you can see the value that this Gale Force is giving to Lwx as well. Just so much ways of keeping himself safe. If he has an Immortal Shield Bow there, hell, maybe even a Kraken there, even though we haven't seen it in a while for the Aphelios, it's just lights out. He has no escape, he has no flash, he can't get out. As we can say that now, Jiejie might be in trouble himself. Great pillar to try and disengage, but there's going to be enough of a way for him to get it back out on top of this. And you can see now Scout trying to free fire onto this side, but the Unbreakable keeps all damage from hitting the core important members of FPX. And now, with a Rift Herald being dropped, FPX feel confident. FPX feels strong. They're pushing forward. There's a good culling, but here comes Nuguri with the slicing Maelstrom, not quite able to find an angle for it, and that means that this Rift Herald is going to get its final charge off onto the tier 2, but with Dragon spawning, or Dragon spawned, FPX now put themselves on the Soul Point.
I mean, this is going to be what should be, right? This should be Soul for FPX at 24 minutes. There's realistically no way that EDG should have a right to fight for it, but we're going to keep our eyes on EDG. If there's any magic that can happen, any clutch plays that can come out, any mistakes by FPX that you are able to punish. But man, it is so nice to see. And it goes back to what we were hitting earlier, someone like Doinb just absolutely popping off this game. I think Crisp as well, being exceptional, sets up for it with the Q. Doinb following in with the flash, able to get a Q off as well as Tian gets in the middle of the fight to join him. And Crisp is the setup, Doinb is the damage dealer, and everything just works out.
Yeah, you can even see here, they don't even need the Rift Herald for this tower. They will get a full charge onto the next one, but Lwx will be tanking a little bit more than he wanted to there, as he does end up getting taken out. So Nuguri just feeling like he can't really go for that one. And uh-oh, Flandre, you're in trouble, buddy. You have to flash over. He's going to still be in trouble as he tries to run away. They know exactly which direction he went, but while that's been happening, Lwx now in a little bit of trouble himself as Jiejie gets himself a solo kill onto the FPX AD carry. Nowhere for him to go. Still just waiting on that cooldown of flash.
Yeah, having a bit of a rough time. Not doing too bad, you know. Wait, what?
Flandre got out. He's now back in bot lane. He's alive, well, and CSing.
You know, as Nelson would be happy to hear that, Penguin. So, you know,
he would.
Always nice, Flandre. Did have to use his flash, so Flandre no flash available now, but Lwx getting pressured quite a bit by the members of EDG. Also having a few mechanical misplays in that last fight, as Nuguri now should be fine. I don't think Meiko is close enough to where they realistically should be able to get in range to use a pillar to look for this. We're coming back onto the map. Dragon still a few minutes away. Baron is going to be the priority for now to make sure that no one gets this. As we get a replay of something.
Jiejie just knowing there's no vision and Lwx walking up and dying. It was literally blue to red and then no vision. There's literally nothing there. No one knows that Jiejie is here, and then he just sees his opportunity with Crisp on the ward and then gets himself a kill.
It is a bit unfortunate, right? I mean, nice play from EDG, but they do it. I mean, that's why it is a nice play by EDG. They do it while the reset's coming off from FPX. So FPX not having any new vision set down there to where they would expect him to be in that angle. So really nice play by Jiejie, abusing that fog of war and lack of vision that was there. As we are getting closer, like we said, Baron now up, so top side of the map going to be a priority for now to make sure that no shenanigans around the Baron pit do come up. FPX still aggressively looking for angles to go forward. They don't have the best of engage, but if Crisp can tag someone once again with a Q or just auto them and hit the passive, there are always windows for Doinb to be able to get into the fight, but looks like FPX wanting to manage their side lanes a little bit. Both side lanes are pushing out for now, so it's actually going to be EDG who are going to have to manage their sides. And EDG, I feel like, are the team who do have more potential in picking people off in terms of side lanes, with the fact that they do have, you know, Diana Lucian could always try and hover someone like an Ashe down as well. But right now, just being this mid-jungle combo.
Here we go. They're going to jump straight into Nuguri, and he is dead, buried. Nothing he can do. Slicing Maelstrom was used, but it was not to any real effect. Nice little pick-off from EDG, and these are starting to stack up a little bit, Lyric. These are starting to elongate the game where FPX can't be as proactive.
Those picks are what are keeping EDG alive. Also helping close down the gold lead by a little bit right now. Still 4K gold lead for the side of FPX, but EDG keeping it as close as they can. Still no real objectives on the map for them to be able to take advantage of. I feel like it's way too early in the game to try to bluff something like a Baron and turn on that one. But FPX still feeling confident that they can look for fights. I think for the fact that Nuguri's almost up and he does have TP available.
Oh, Viper has to use his ultimate straight away to keep himself alive. Winter's Bright does not land. It will land the second Q though, but that's an ultimate down now for a potential dragon fight. Maybe should be up just in time. I'm going to look at the timing of it there. We'll have a quick look once it goes back onto the Ashe, but that's a dragon, or excuse me, a bot lane tier 1 being taken here by the side of EDG, and they're only, as you say, about 3,000 gold behind now. They're actually not that much further away as they were about 5-6 minutes ago, so FPX going to be a little bit more careful coming into this fight, but let's have a look at the items. In a minute's time, we will see this dragon fight. So you've got 2 items onto your Renekton. He's probably as powerful as he's going to ever be, pretty much equaled out by Nuguri with that Void Staff and the Rocket Belt, and all the way down the line, the only person who doesn't really have 2 items is Diana for Jiejie.
I just wonder what Doinb is going for with the Aegis. I mean, he has to be making his way towards a Gargoyle Stoneblade, right? I think that's the only non-mythic that item builds into. Not something I could say I've seen on Irelia at all, but, you know, can be something that's done, maybe something I've missed. Doinb always being a little bit quirkier in terms of his builds. Dragon is up though, like you said. It does feel like you have core items on most of your important members. Maybe Jiejie being the Tian though.
Oh, there it is, right on the scout. He's the guy with most of that. And that's a 4-man flawless duet. That was insane from Doinb and EDG. You've lost this fight. You have to run away. It's a double kill for Doinb. He deservedly needs to get himself even more because he set that one up 100%. Him and TN are just massive. Crisp picks up the Flandre kill, and that was just absolutely perfection from FPX.
Tien finding the angle was the crucial thing in that fight. Also then setting up for Doinb to go in for them to take over. It just feels like all these clutch moments, FPX are able to find their ways in. They are relying on plays like this, right? Either Tien finding a Sonic Wave, getting behind someone, Nuguri flashing in or using that Rocket Belt, but they're able to find this. Doinb able to come from the side and get on the back line. The flawless duet is immaculate, sets up for the ultimate from Braum, and them able to keep running forward. But Penguin, we're fighting over Baron. Oh, Tian.
We are indeed. Tian has been caught out, but there is a TP coming now off the backside of this. Is Nuguri. He's got Flash, he's got Slicing Maelstrom. He'll go straight in onto the AD carries, and they're dead. Buried. Nothing else to talk about. The AD carries are gone, no longer to be seen in this world, Lyric. And now FPX, they could look for the game. There's no real damage now on the side of EDG.
No, they can just keep going. Flandre, though, I think he's...
Oh
Flandre by so much time.
Buying so much time.
He's dead.
And again, another flawless duet. And I want to really emphasize the flawless duet for Doinb. Game 1 will be FPX. They put their foot on the gas. They never relented. And they are taking one more step towards being the #1 team in the regular split.
FPX just putting on a clinic in that one, completely taking down EDG. And it goes to a point about EDG that we were hitting on earlier, is that when EDG did falter, it was against teams that, you know, have shown these peaks before, right? It was up against RNG, it was up against Top Esports, up against WE, so we were concerned about how they would look coming up against the top dog in FPX, and FPX completely delivered. If you're going to opt into a game of playing mid-jungle support, which is what we saw from very early on, right? That is FPX's game. FPX live and thrive by that. It feels like really no one can compete them in those 3 areas, and with that, they were able to get Doinb this lead. Tian early on as well. We remember his Goredrinker was just picked up so early on. Nuguri finding some good ultimates, and it was just on point for FPX this game.
I mean, if there was any doubt whatsoever about FPX and Doinb specifically, or even anyone on their team, that they were maybe faltering, looking a bit rusty, they can't do it against the top teams, they just style on the lower end teams. This was a statement from the side of FPX. They came in, they had a game plan, and they executed beautifully on it. And honestly, everyone did exactly what they needed to do. You had everyone playing their role to perfection, and EDG just didn't have any answers for it.
Even Lwx, who, again, like in mid-game, I think was a bit dicier with the amount of pressure, they still 2v2 killed Viper and Meiko bot lane. It was still there, and Doinb going with, you know, a little bit of the tank Irelia, a little fun, a little bit of personality. The fact that he still does the most damage in the game, absolutely insane. And for EDG, we're going to be looking at the adaptations next game. They came out with a bit of a spicier draft this time around, right? When I think of EDG, I don't necessarily think of like, hey, we're just going to go straight into the Renekton, the Diana, the Lucian, something that does give you more lane presence, does give you a bit more aggression, but they tried it, and sadly, it wasn't able to work out.
Yeah, it was, like you said, a little bit different, a little bit more quote-unquote spicy, but I want to see them maybe take something a little bit more comfortable. When we're talking about EDG being comfortable, Meiko on engaged supports. You highlighted it in draft. The Trundle, not really something he's really known for. I think of Meiko, I think of Alistair, I think of maybe Leona or Nautilus. Those are the things that I'm thinking of when I think of this support, and Scout looked okay on the Lucian. I don't think he did badly on it, but there was just too much of an advantage. And when you're trying to prio into a mid lane that is just so far pushed back, not even far behind, just pushed back underneath your turret, it just becomes difficult for EDG.
I mean, when you're playing like a marksman into, you know, a bruiser, and your marksman falls behind early, isn't able to keep abusing that range advantage, and you always have to worry about the all-in, it really does become so hard to try and push any advantages forward. So it really feels like a lot of the disaster for EDG was in the making after the shenanigans in mid lane came out around the, it was like level 4 mark in the mid lane. So yeah, that really set FPX in a good place where they then had pressure pretty much across the map, were able to take objectives willy-nilly. We saw them get on soul points so early on. It would have been a 24-minute soul. So FPX doing a great job. We've seen that they do this fastest game times and highest champion kills per minute. It's all about pushing the pace.
Yes, explosive game 1 victory for FPX. We are going to throw it to a quick break, but when we return, we'll see if it's a 2-0 or if EDG. I've got something to say about it. We'll see you very soon.